President Trump's agenda has faced a litany of legal challenges in the courts. In the first 100 days of the second Trump presidency, at least 220 lawsuits were filed, which means that Trump and his administration have faced an average of more than 2 lawsuits per day. The lawsuits concern almost every aspect of the administration's agenda, from the dismissal of thousands of federal workers to the sweeping changes in immigration and deportation policies. Some of these lawsuits have been filed by Democratic attorneys general, who are at the forefront of the resistance to the administration's extreme agenda. Joining me now to discuss is Arizona Attorney General Kris Mayes. Her state is a party to over a dozen lawsuits against the administration. Welcome, Attorney General Mayes. Can I get your thoughts on the first 100 days of this second Trump term?
Hi, Melissa. Well, boy, it has been a lawless first 100 days. It has been the most unconstitutional, lawless first 100 days of any presidency in the history of our country, which is why we have seen so many lawsuits filed, and why the 23 Democratic attorneys general of this country have now filed at least 14 lawsuits to try to stop it. So it is extraordinary. It's unacceptable, and we're going to continue to do what we're doing until it stops.
Let's drill down into some of these lawsuits that you've joined with other states against the administration. Arizona is currently a litigant in a lawsuit against the administration's efforts to cut funding to AmeriCorps. You are also part of a lawsuit that is challenging the tariff policy on the grounds that it is, quote, subject to Trump's whims rather than the sound exercise of lawful authority. Can you help explain the state's interests here? I think most people understand that these are federal programs, federal policies, but as you explain in the complaint, the states and their constituents have a real interest here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you know, as the top law enforcement officers of our states and legal officers of our states, it's our responsibility to uphold the rule of law, to uphold the Constitution, and to defend our states and to prevent injury to our states by the federal government. And we have seen that time and time again from Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and DOJ as they try to slash and burn their way through federal agencies. The tariffs case is a good example. The federal funding freeze was another, where they would have cut hundreds of millions of dollars away from the state of Arizona and harmed our states. We're talking about Head Start, Meals on Wheels. They even would have cut our efforts to try to combat the Mexican drug cartels. So this is about, protecting our states. And I will say the ROI, the return on investment of these lawsuits has been huge, as we have been able to prevent that damage, or at least a lot of it, from happening to our states.
So, Attorney General Mayes, you've noted that the states are big players here, too, in our federated system. We also have a tripartite system in the federal government where we have the courts, the legislature, and the executive, and they're all supposed to check each other, and the states are also checks on them. But right now, we have a Congress that is pretty much on the couch, and we have the courts really stepping in and the states stepping in through the courts. But how long can this continue? Is it going to be possible to challenge this administration solely in the courts, or do we need Congress, the first branch, to step in?
I mean, it's a great question, Melissa, and I will tell you it's something that the AGs talk about a lot. We are committed to continuing to sue Donald Trump and Elon Musk and DOJ every single time they violate the Constitution. But you make a great point, which is almost every single one of these lawsuits is basically predicated on a violation of the separation of powers, and we are essentially defending the prerogatives of Congress. And Congress is nowhere to be found. They are AWOL in this fight so far. So it would be very good, obviously preferable, if Congress would step up, do its job, and protect its own branch of government. And then in doing so, it would be protecting the states and our citizens against the incredible harm that is being perpetrated on us and on this country. We do not have kings in this country. We do not have kings. We have three branches of government. We have a democracy, and the Democratic AGs are committed to protecting it no matter what.
All right, we'll leave it there. Attorney General